Welcome guys, Sense here. Today I'm going to review the Razer Acari. I tried to make this video less scripted, so let me know in the comments if you like it. I just wanted to show you guys the Acari in comparison to my two favorite mousepads. The first one is the Hien XL and the second one the GSR SE. And as you can see, it's way smaller than both of them. Okay, it has a kind of glossy, glittery finish and it feels like there are bumps on the pad, and as you can see in the product description, that indeed is the case and you can actually feel them. Underneath the pad is like just normal rubber, like there's legit nothing too crazy about it. It feels really nice and it does what it should do. It sticks to the desk, especially if it's not as dusty as mine currently. I currently don't have a scientific method to measure a glide or something, but I'm just gonna show you a small glide test. It's like super fast. Obviously I can't spin it, but as you can see, it's really fast, and I'm not pushing it too hard. I'm just like tapping it slightly. Let's try it with a heavier mouse. It's still gliding like crazy. First, I must say that I really like the feeling of the pad, like when you move your arm around it. It's a hard pad, and with other hard pads I kinda had the problem that it gets sticky on your skin. And I feel like this is not really a problem with the Acari. You really have a smooth glide. If you like use a sleeve as I do, it's even faster. And you really get a fast pad with like even no friction on your skin when you're moving it. The fact that it's a hard pad, and I haven't used that many hard pads, also hard pads aren't that popular, it's really hard to compare it to other pads, because honestly you can't. I couldn't say there's a pad with a similar smoothness and a similar speed than this one, because like it's just not the point of other pads. I think this pad really favors Hisense players because first, you don't really have much space, which I'll talk about later. And also it makes your tiny micro adjustments, maybe you're even playing on fingertip if you're a Hisense, super like stress-free, I could say. You don't need to stress about like having pressure you need to move your mouse against, if you get what I mean. And it's just like super enjoyable to use with it and like track with it, and you can be as smooth as possible, which is kind of hard on the Hisense, and therefore I think it's a good pad for Hisense because it helps you being smooth, which is one of the like biggest problems or difficulties when playing Hisense. Also, I like to consider this pad a training pad. And what do I mean by that? This is a pad you could perfectly utilize in aim training, like in Kovacs, because it really paints out your flaws. Like if you're inconsistent, if you have problems being smooth, if you have any problem with your aim, you will feel it more on this pad. This can be a bad thing and it could be a good thing. Like if you get used to it, you can make it work in games for sure, but I feel like it would be the better option to just use it to practice, use it to improve your smoothness, use it to play maybe higher sense to get smoother, and to practice in aim trainers, and then in game play a more forgiving pad to get the best performance you could possibly get out of your gameplay. That would probably the way I would use it too. Don't get me wrong, if you master it, I feel like it can be super valuable, especially in like tracking heavy games or AFPS. But other than that, it's really hard, because sometimes it just makes everything a tiny bit harder for you, which you shouldn't want when you're playing competitively or just playing games in general, I guess. Now, we sadly need to get to some negative points about the pad, or negative aspects about the pad. In my opinion, there aren't too many, and it's like either a pad you like or you just don't like. For users who don't like hard pads, they will not like it at all, and that's like understandable. But I'm still gonna mention some points I really didn't like about it. The first point is it's super expensive. It depends where you get it, but for example in Germany there wasn't a normal reseller that had it in stock, so I needed to get it at Razer, and it costed me 80 bucks. And in my opinion that's quite expensive for a mousepad, and even more expensive if you consider the size. Another negative point, which I kind of included in my last one, is that it's really small, which could be another argument that it's made for our higher sense users, because when I played it, and I played most of the times I played on 20 cm up to 30 cm with it, I never or like rarely had a problem readjusting. Like I never went off the pad and like missed a shot because of that. But if you're playing lower sense, that could honestly happen. And the price per centimeter, if you want it like that, is really, really high. What I also didn't like, and I need to say it's kind of weird because the name literally says hard pad, but I felt like it was a little bit too hard from the padding for me. You're literally playing on the desk, and after longer sessions, your wrist might start to hurt. And I'm used to the hand soft, so maybe it's just me, but consider that it's really, really hard on the wrist. But the good thing is there's a pretty easy fix. And for me, this made the pad from a decent pad to a really, really good pad. And it's just put a pad with decent padding underneath. And in my opinion, this makes the pad at least twice as good. Maybe it's just me being weird that I like a soft hard pad, but it really, really helps. In my opinion, it adds a bit of control and it makes longer sessions just so more enjoyable. So what are my final thoughts about this pad? In my opinion, this is a really, really good pad, but it's pretty niche. It's for people who really like hard pads, they know it, and they are fine with spending a decent amount of money on getting a really, really good one. It's not for like the average player, and I would honestly say if you're playing any tactic shooters like Counter-Strike or Valorant or Rainbow Six probably, I would honestly say don't buy it. Click timing is quite hard on it. Like, it's not a control pad, obviously, it's super fast, but that's not what you want to do in tactic shooters. You would need to either go super low sense, which is not possible, it's quite small. You needed to stack 2 or 3 of them, which is not a good idea. Or you just don't use it, which in my opinion is the best option. But if you're playing games like maybe Arena, FPS, Quake, Diabolical, maybe Apex even, this pad could really, really do its job, and it could do its job well, and I really like it for that. But keep in mind it's quite expensive, so really think about that before you buy it. I would give the pad probably an 8 out of 10 considering it's a niche pad, and for like what it does really, really well. This was my first review, and also it was my first video. I spoke more freely. I tried to use less cuts and not a script because in my opinion it's more authentic if product reviews are kind of one take-ish. As I said, I'm not native, so the video quality of the scripted videos is probably better. Just let me know in the comments what you enjoy more, so I can keep that in mind on my next video. And I hope I could be helpful and help you decide to get the pad or not. And if you have any questions, feel free to join my Discord, DM me or whatever. I would really appreciate feedback in the comments, and if you liked the video, drop a thumbs up and see you next time. Bye bye.